Well, hello. Um, Today I'm making steak fajitas and Spanish rice. So, I want to start on the rice first because it has to cook pretty undisturbed for 20 minutes. A cup of water here that I just heated up, my filtered water from that thing. That I just heated up in the microwave, and I'm adding this chicken base from Sam's Club. So that's effectively a cup of chicken broth. I'm gonna start the fire. This pot is going to be for my Spanish rice. And I got about a tablespoon of that same lard. I'm gonna add a cup. Look at that, me in a measuring cup. See, I can do it. And we want to fry this until it turns golden, which can be difficult for me because I tend to wander off and do other things, and I don't want it to burn. So there's that. To 1 cup of rice, I'm going to need 2 cups of liquid. You'll see that I just made 1 cup of chicken stock, which looks like maybe I made it a little on the heavy side, but that's okay. Then, remember the ranchero sauce, aka hot salsa? Add some of that. Some beautiful chunky bits. This is not as hard as I thought to keep track of the rice because it does kind of have a little bit of a smell. Probably smell it toasting before I smell it burning. Whoops. Remember a bucket of enchilada sauce? What do I do with my leftover enchilada sauce, you ask? Well, you could make some Spanish rice. Make a mess of your kitchen. Clean that up officially later. Okay, back to beginning to get a little bit of color. It's also beginning to smoke a little bit. Turn it down. Lard has a very high smoking point, so if you see any kind of, it might actually be some steam, but if you see any kind of smoke coming off lard, it is too hot. So if I rush this and I don't get it really fried, well toasted, then it's really not going to be Spanish rice. It's going to be just steamed rice. If you've ever made rice-a-roni, I think you have to do this at the beginning of rice-a-roni as well. It's been a few decades since I made that stuff. Okay, that looks pretty good. So here's my liquid. 1 cup of rice needs 2 cups of liquid. And my liquid is a mixture of chicken stock, enchilada sauce, and a little bit of that ranchero sauce for some chunky bits. It instantly smells wonderful. Pay attention. I'm gonna start the burner for the fajitas. Got a little bit of bubbly going on. I'm gonna turn this down to a pretty low simmer. I'm going to set the timer. $20. So that just cooks for 20 minutes. That's all it needs. Okay, back to my steak fajitas. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but I found the steak on sale. It was about 1 pound of a really beautiful sirloin tender steak. So I cut it into strips, as well as cutting some onion and bell pepper into strips, and I marinated it with 1 very large garlic clove. You could use, 2 or 3 small. Some oregano, a little bit of chili powder, not much. My cumin, the juice of 1 lime, a little bit of smoked paprika, mostly for the smoke and the color. And then this dried cilantro, because look how close to gone that is, and I don't love that stuff. So that's all that's in there. And I marinated it overnight. My favorite thing about fajitas is the lime. I very much like to have fajitas, whether they're steak or chicken, very well marinated in lime. Now, this has been close to 24 hours marinating, and there are people who say that the lime will cook the meat if you marinate for more than an hour or some such. Well, the other thing the lime will do is it will tenderize the meat, and this is a beautiful tender steak to start with. Most recipes will tell you to marinate the onion and peppers separately from the meat. Cook the onions and peppers separate from the meat. Dry the lime juice off the meat before you cook it, and so on. I don't do any of that, as you just saw. It all goes into the pan. Of course, I do have this beautiful, huge pan So if I had just like a 10-inch skillet, I might have to do this in batches. Okay, so that can sit there for a minute, do its thing. Now, oh, over here, I also wanted to show you, this is a serrano chili, which I'm going to use making guacamole today. This is a jalapeno. It's a big fat daddy compared. This is a poblano, which I could not find the other day. Well, I have found them, and I do like them in fajitas. So I'm going to get those roasted and cut into strips for the fajitas. This is my favorite hot sauce, tapatio. I'll go to this one next. I bought this recently, and it is so good. So the next time I was in the store, I ran out and I bought this one, which tastes like vinegar. It's awful. So I recommend this one. I do not recommend this one. This company, Herdis. I really like most of their products, so this thing is a surprise to me, a big disappointment. But hot sauces, pretty big part of making fajitas happen. So it's just simmering along just fine. This pot tends to bother me. It likes to leak a lot of the steam. A lot of steam coming out. That's just not right. Anyway, back over to here. I wanted to make guacamole. And if you remember my leftover hatch chilies and fine diced onion from the other day, and my ranchero sauce. Here I have fresh diced serrano chili with the seeds and membranes removed. This is my favorite chili, but the seeds and membranes are very hot in a raw chili. And then I chopped up some cilantro. So I'm just gonna make, I did squeeze a little bit of lime on the avocado so it wouldn't turn brown. Avocado hides spiciness to a pretty extreme extent. So one of the reasons I really like to put the hotter serranos in it, and I love the peppery flavor of them. Okay, my hatch chilies. That's more onion than I want, as I remember this stuff was very strong. Okay, and oregano. Just a fiend for oregano. There are two things you can do to keep the avocado from turning brown. Leave the pit in the guacamole, and make sure you use plenty of lime juice. Oh, the other thing is, when I refrigerate this, I'll lay plastic wrap on top to be touching the guacamole. Now, some people like this very smooth. I don't like guacamole that way because the junk you buy pre-made comes like that. So I like to leave it lumpy. turn off the flame. I don't want to overcook the steak. Might have to actually pull it out of the pan to protect it from overcooking. But back to the guacamole. If I had two hands, I might do this with 2 forks or a fork and a butter knife. But I'm just mashing it together. There we go, guacamole. Now, here, I have 1 enchilada left over. I think I made a total of 5. And I had 2 for lunch and 2 for dinner. That leaves 1. And our rice needs to go about 10 more minutes. I'm going to be seeing my daughter. This also had enchilada sauce in it for a minute, if you recall. I really don't like to wash extra dishes if I'm about to make them dirty again anyway. Anyway, on Saturday I'm going to be seeing my daughter for lunch. Well, breakfast and then shopping and then lunch and then racing to get her to work on time. So, I want to make this up as a freezer meal. So chicken and cheese enchilada and steak fajitas. And of course we'll have some Spanish rice to go with that. Okay, sorry. Need a minute. Think about where I'm going with this. Okay, we're still waiting on the rice. I didn't end up using the lid for that at all. I'm gonna go ahead and start roasting poblanos. I'm also going to try this. See if that helps reduce the amount of steam that escapes. Nope. Doesn't seem to make a difference. Now I could put like a cookie cooling rack or something here, which would stop the chili from falling down into the burner. But no, I don't really mind that. Doesn't hurt anything. So the skin on a Poblano chili, I love them. They're my favorite chili. Well, a close second to Serrano, probably. But the skin is like plastic. It's nasty. So you basically have to burn it, get it to peel off. And I'm probably not going to do that with one hand. I've always had a gas stove, but I guess if you have electric, then you need to do this in the oven. And from what I understand, I've never done it, you would coat the chilies with some kind of oil and then basically broil them in your oven. A lot of people have gas barbecues, often even with a little side burner. So you could also burn your chilies up that way. The ding-a-ling bell you hear behind you is my parrot. It dawned on me when I was looking at a video the other day that people are probably like, what is that crazy noise? So, real quick. Cracker bird. Cracker. There he is. Cracker bird. It's a military macaw. So yeah, he rings his old bell occasionally. He does talk, but it has to be his idea. Now, I'm not really extreme about burning these things up. So I usually get little areas like this. See how right there, it's not charred? Those are a little more difficult. Those areas are more difficult. See, I got them on this side too. They're more difficult to peel. It can be done, but it's more time consuming. Okay. Got almost 4 minutes to go on the rice. You know what? I have this big pan here. I think I'm just going to drop these chilies in that pan and put the lid on. Rather than... I usually use a mixing bowl and then I cover it with a plate. And that creates my little steaming container. But sometimes, especially like, well, I burn the stems off these now, but sometimes, especially if there are longer stems, it can be hard to fit them into the bowl. And yes, I do have bigger bowls, but those not my usual cooking equipment. So yeah, it takes a couple of minutes. That one looks pretty good, except for that one spot. was pretty low tech. You're just burning it. And then I find I certainly cannot peel them with one hand. But after they've cooled down and steamed, I just stand over the wastebasket and do the best I can to drop these charred bits that you peel off into the wastebasket. A lot of them get stuck on my hands, and just rinse my hands several times as I go. 'Cause I'm sort of weird about having dirty hands. Don't like it. So yeah, this is falling off already. Here, see? All right. My guess is those are pretty good. So that can steam. Okay, timer says a few seconds to go. Now, whenever I make rice, I like to keep it covered and let it rest for 5 or 10 minutes after the cooking 20 minutes. You can see that it's still pretty wet. And it's also sticking a bit. Again, the problems of one-handed cooking. There you have it. Spanish rice. There you go. That will continue to steam. Steak fajitas. Guacamole. And a freezer meal. I'll just put the rice in a separate container for her. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.